videos and stuff that came up that was more important, so we obviously didn't have time to make some videos. I had time to make a video now, so I just wanted to tell you guys where I've been and what's been going on. So I don't know who knows this, but my little brother Michael, he's 12 years old and he's got brain cancer really bad, a tumor in the center of his brain. The doctors, he's had this since Mother's Day, they diagnosed him, and so the doctors kind of are giving no hope, saying that, you know, he's not going anywhere. And then last Saturday, almost a week ago, this is Friday, he had a couple seizures and he was at home, so they called the ambulance right away and they rushed him to the hospital here, and then they sent in the Stars Air ambulance and flew him back to Calgary. So they're in Calgary now and he's being treated there, and the doctors are just, you know, monitoring him and doing what they can do. He was in a coma for a couple days, and they said he has a slight case of pneumonia, which didn't help. So now he's stabilized and doing a little better, but work just got crazy. We got totally overloaded. I was the only one running the shop now, so that's why I haven't been able to make any videos. It's been really crazy, and then my girlfriend got sick, so she had a really high fever and it ended up being strep throat, really bad case of strep throat, so we were in the emergency for a couple days there, waiting there after work, so I didn't have time to make videos, obviously. So now I had time, so I just thought I'd give you guys an update and let you know where I've been. Just headed into town now into Volkswagen to get some parts, and I just thought this was a good time. But anyways, I'm going to start doing videos again, hopefully get on top of editing videos here. I have lots of videos ready to go. We got a Waterton video coming up. We went to Waterton a couple weeks ago already, so we got a video coming up for that. Just bear with me, everyone. It's a long road and we're getting going, and I really appreciate everyone's support so far, and can't thank you guys enough for all the subscribes and likes and views. It really means a lot to us. And I want to give a shout out to my cousin Becky who gave me this hat. She got it for me in Peru, and that was really nice of her, so I'm wearing it and I'm using it for work, like you said. And yeah, anyways, thanks for joining me today, guys. We'll get this day going and get some videos in, and we'll go from there. Thanks for joining. Alright, so we just got back to the home base here, and we're just going to go and install this. We're working on a 2008 Volkswagen Passat with a 2-liter turbo TSI, and I diagnosed that I had a bad fuel pump control module. Let's get this out. So this here is the fuel pump control module. This is an upgraded one from the dealer. So if you're having problems with, I think it's 08 to 2013 or 14, the 2-liter TSI engines turbo, these fuel controller modules go out on them, and what happens is your car will run fine, and then it'll get kind of boggy and hesitant and like stall out on you once it warms up, and then you let it cool down for a while, and then it'll start back up and run normal, and then do the same thing. So what happens is these actually, there's some design flaw, and they overheat, and when they overheat they cut the power to the fuel pump, so you have no fuel to the engine, so it stalls out. Then you let it cool down and it functions properly. So to diagnose that, basically it's hard unless you run the car till it's warm and have it kind of cut out. And what I did is I had the back seat flipped up. And when it started to cut out, then because you can hear the fuel pump buzzing, I looked back there and I felt it, and it was cutting out and cutting out and cutting out. And so then that told me that this control module was faulty. So this is an upgraded one, so it's supposed to be better. So you're not supposed to run into that problem anymore. It's a very easy install. The hardest part is pulling the back seat up. But it's just really windy outside, so that's why I did this video in here. So we'll head out to the car and I'll show you what it takes to install it. It's really basic, so we'll go do that now. So this is the car here. You want to come around to the passenger side, go in the back here, and I can just close this up to where it was. So the seat goes down like this. So to pull this up, you have this little strap here. Pulling that, the front pops up, So the front pulls up like this, and then you'll just pop the back up, flip it over like that. You'll pull this cover up, then it'll be sitting right in here like this. So you pop that out, disconnect this connector, pop this off, and unplug it from the fuel tank. So it's very basic. So now to reinstall it, what you do, put the connector, fish that through the hole, just like that. Then you want to pop this grommet in here. Yes, I'm struggling with one hand. Just like that. And you flip this back up. You take this and you want to plug this in. There's a little red clip on there that you're going to want to push down after you plug it in to secure it. So go until you hear the little click, push that red clip down, another click. That's solid in there now. So we flip this like this. You get this, there's a little arrow pointing to forwards. This little guy right here. Click, click, click. Put that in there like that. Plug this guy in. Click. And then this goes in here like this. So that this little recess part, this sits in here. Just like that. And just like that, you have your new fuel control module installed. Go like that. Flip the seat back down like that. There. Push it down, you get another little click. This is the old one. As you can see, the upgraded one had aluminum here, like for better cooling, which they obviously need because it's tucked away under the seat. It's going to get hot. So, boom, done just like that. So I'll go grab the key, start it up, and this one should be ready to go. Make the invoice. That's such a simple job to do. It takes a couple minutes, and I mean, if you're having those symptoms, that's most likely the cause, because that's very common on these. So something to keep in mind for sure. And next up on the agenda, after we get that one all done, is this 95 Mercury Sable 3.8 water pump's leaking. There's much more problems than that, but this guy just wants to take care of the water pump for today. And so we're going to be showing that. So what I did is I just pulled out the coolant tanks, which are right here. They just pop right out, 2 hoses unplugged and a connector off the washer fluid pump. A connector there. Then it flips up like this and pulls out. Then now we got to pull the belt off here, but I'll show you that in a second. The tensioner's in the back there. Looks like you need a 15mm wrench or something on there. But first we'll loosen off these 4 10mm bolts on the water pump pulley. Break those loose first.
I will find a light in your soul, I'll be there. Never leaving you in the darkness, even when you're out.
I'm just gonna pull off this idler here. The bearing sounds noisy, so we'll probably grease it up too. That's an 18mm just for sake of room. And then you have to pop the hose off the top here that's fitting. That's an 8mm over here. And on the bottom there's a hose too, but we'll look in that better when we're down there. So 18mm here, then this is 13, this is like 16, 13, and then the rest will come off. This pulley just kind of sits in here for now. We can work around it, and yeah, so we'll do that.
Focus. I will be the light in your life, you'll see clear. I'll be your inspiration, 'cause I know that you'll do just what you're told. I'll be your heart and temptation.
Okay, so you gotta take this bracket off here too. Oh, that's a 13mm and 2 10mm. And that comes off, oh my goodness, the alternator. It bolts up here. And this stud, then the alternator, and then down on the water pump. And then an 8mm bolt Down here for the water pump, for that hose that goes on, it's hard to see. And then around the water pump it's just 15 mil bolts and 10 mil bolts around there. Studs, and you gotta pull that one bracket off. It goes around there, and I think that's all. And then pop her loose, crack her loose, and she should be ready to come off almost. She's loose. It's all loose now, so let's see if we can get it off. Looks like a little bit of fun because these fittings don't want to come out yet. A little bit seized in there, so we'll get it beat. We'll keep working on it and get it off. Sorry I didn't get to film the rest. Pulling it out the camera is just in the way, but you actually have to jack up the engine a ways, and then that water pump can come out. I ended up disconnecting the rad hose off of here, and then these two hoses. So now we'll have to remove this hose out of here. Everything's just like corroded on here, and the fittings are all stuck. So you got to carefully remove those without wrecking them. Hope that everything's good. So we got to get this mating surface cleaned up for the new water pump. Got to get that all cleaned up there. It's a little bit dirty in here. Get this old gasket off. Yeah, that's pretty hard. So we'll get that off. There's 4 studs left in when you pull it out. And yeah, it's been leaking for quite a while. So we'll get that cleaned up and try and get those fittings out and get the new ones started going in. Alright, we got the new water pump together there. And we got the new fittings in. This kit comes with a new gasket and new O-rings for those fittings. So we got them in there, we wire brushed them. I forgot to film that, it's just so rushed here. But now we're just cleaning up the block, getting it ready for the water pump to go on there. It's basically like chipping away the old gasket. It's so like seized on there, or not seized, corroded and everything. So it was leaking for quite a while. But once we get that cleaned up, we can put the new one in. There we go, finally cleaned that. But just because of the corrosion and roughness on this one, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of ultra copper on both sides of this gasket that they send us anyways, just to avoid future problems, because we don't want to have to pull this all apart. So we're just going to put a thin layer on both sides, and that'll just help seal everything and just prevent further problems. So I recommend that. There you go, the camera's just in the way putting those bolts, and all the bolts are in there around there. They're all 10, 15, and then there's down here for these brackets it's 13 mil. That bolt right by the AC compressor. And then this is a 13 mil here. And then 15, and then 15 nut. And then what I did is I just flipped this up like this, because we had that mounting bracket out of the way. But now this mounting bracket goes back on here. Down there and up here. There we go. There we go, it's all together. Sorry I didn't get to film the rest. That belt wasn't too bad to put on while the engine was still jacked up. Here's the diagram here. It's a little hard to see, but it goes up over that power steering pump, then down to the AC compressor, then around the harmonic balancer, then up over the water pump, then to the tensioner, then to the alternator, then to that idler, and then back over the power steering pump. So that one's pretty easy to put on. We're just putting coolant in and getting that filled up. So it's almost ready to start up. So far so good, no leaks. Just with all that corrosion and everything, it kind of scares me, but we got it all cleaned up and little air of ultra copper, so there should be no problems there. So we'll get this thing filled up, then we'll start it up, run it till the thermostat opens up, and check the level. Alright guys, that Sable is gone. Actually, I'll show you that water pump. Like that bearing is just growling. Let me see where... Here's my big pile of scrap metal. A little bit messy, but let me just get this. You can probably hear it. Well, it's loose and it's got play in there. Oops. And it was just dripping out the coolant. So, anyways, that customer was very happy. We got that fixed for him. So we got a Honda Accord in to do tomorrow morning. He needs a muffler and an AC recharge. And then we got to finish that trailer. We got to check the rest of the brakes on there. We put a backing plate and shoes and drum on there and new bearings because the wheel came off and did a bunch of damage there. And the lining actually separated from the mounting for it. So yeah. So anyways, we need to finish this F-150. I'll have videos after on the brakes on this, but I'll put this video up first just to explain why there has been no videos for a long time. And we're doing upper and lower ball joints on here. So we're using Mevotech. That's usually what we use because, I mean, just quality and for price. You can see this is completely gone. Look, it's got lots of play in there. It should never be that loose, and the lower ones are loose and had play in them too. And not only that, these bushings and the control arm are gone, but Mevotech sends the whole thing with a new control arm. Just like this. Brand new control arm, bushings, everything. And I'm going to show a little shortcut for putting these control arms on. These control arms, they say, yeah, see, this one's still, all the bolts are tight and it's got in there and not good. But I'll show you a shortcut. They say you have to remove the strut completely, but you don't. All that I do is I disconnect this sway bar, put a vice grip on the bottom, rip that thing off 18 mil. Then up here it's a 21 mil nut on both sides, here and here. Just get a little wrench in there, and then 3 15 mil nuts. Don't touch that center nut. Oh, focus camera. Don't touch this one here. Just get these 3 15 mil off, and then I get my big pry bar in there and put it in here or across here and onto that bolt over there and pry down, and then I pop this strut so that the bolts sit over here so it's out of the way, and then it holds the lower control arm down at the same time. And then those bolts pop right out, pull that control arm off, put the new one in, put the bolts in, torque it up to about 100 foot-pounds, those nuts. And yeah, you don't have to pull the whole spindle off to do that, but I have to do lower ball joints on here too. So we got them off. This truck's front end is pretty worn out, other than the tie rods and everything are still tight. So that's good. 330,000 clicks. And it's still doing pretty good for a Ford. So this is one that we put all new brakes on. But unfortunately we had to pull them back off to do all this work. But it's not a big deal, I guess. Doesn't take much to do that. And then hopefully this week I can finish my car, get the Healy coils in there. That'll probably be in a later video because, like I said, I'll put this one up first. We need to put Healy coils. I know it's a disaster here. Healy coils in for those injectors. For number 1 and number 4 injector. 2 and 3. Number 3 studded already. Number 2, that one torqued in there good, so I won't touch it. It's 12 Newton meters and 3/4 turn, they say, but I only did a 1/4 turn because 3/4 of a turn is a lot, and these bolts are just very tiny, as you can see, and you don't want to risk wrecking them. That's about it. So hopefully tonight or tomorrow we can get these Healy coils in and get these injectors in so we can get this car going again and continue the build on here, and hopefully put a front mount intercooler on here soon, and hopefully get some better tires on the front here soon. I bought these rims and tires here, these BMW rims for the tires, but I don't know if I'm gonna even bother with the time to put them on, because they're not a real, like, there's not a whole lot of tread left and they'll just get burned off too quick, so it's probably not even worth the hassle to swap them over. So I think I'm just gonna try and sell them. So if anybody needs some 18 by 8.5 BMW rims, the bolt pattern's 5 by 120, you can get a hold of me somehow. And 225/40 R18 tires, they still have some tread left to burn off, so if anybody needs those, give me a shout. Gotta clean up some tools, mess from that Ford. The trusty old Ford's taking up the shop today, I guess. Well, anyways, I'll stop talking and we'll get going here, back to work on this F-150.